Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining our weekly podcast. I'm Robin Lewis, founder and CEO of the Robin Report, which, by the way, is much, much more than a daily report. It is really a knowledge platform from which we communicate thought leadership on various strategic topics throughout the daily reports, yes, but also these podcasts. And we do some webinars, and we're going to be doing live events in the near future, hopefully. And along with our chief strategist, Shelley Kohan, excuse me, also a professor at FIT and Syracuse University, we welcome you to our conversation on the topic of, and it's a big one, the fastest growing e-commerce company in the world that no one over the age of 30 has ever heard of.
I love that.
That for provocative, Shelley.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as you know, Shelley, I wrote an article last week about this online brand only called Shein, spelled Shein, and supposed to be pronounced as Shein. Anyway, it's a China-based, sizzling hot, or I don't know, should I say way cool? Yeah, fast fashion brand, okay? That is transcending Zara, who created the model, as you know, Shelley, a couple decades ago. And according to Statista, yes, Zara is still ranked first in number of stores worldwide, about 4,500. With H&M second, about 2,500 stores, and revenues of about 27 billion for Zara and about 20 billion for H&M. But Shein caught my attention big time.
Yeah, Robin, I mean, the only way I've heard of it is because I teach these Gen Z students and they're all over it.
Yeah,
So
is
it really the fastest e-commerce company in the entire world, inclusive of Amazon?
Yes, according to measurable.ai, its acronym is MAI. According to them, Shein has grown 100% over the last 8 years,
wow,
making it the fastest growing e-commerce company in the world. Now, it's not just apparel. It's, like Amazon, head of Amazon in terms of growth rate. And of course, as I said, it caught my undivided attention. Shein's is a private company, and it has been estimated that they are generating revenues of between $8 and $10 billion a year. And I would say that's a big effing deal, as our president might say. But wait, get this. In May 2021, according to a Harvard Business School case study, Shein overtook Amazon as the most downloaded shopping app in the US, iOS and Android app stores. I am sure, Shelley, you probably have a lot of stats for us on this topic.
I do. Well, I have something. So this is really interesting that I found. So if you go back to 2019, pre-pandemic, Shein had under 650,000 app downloads.
Mm-hmm.
That's for mobile devices. Fast forward to 2020, the app had over, ready for this, 2.3 million downloads.
Well, there you go. Unbelievable.
It's just completely skyrocketed. And Statista has Shein's brand awareness at 57% for online fashion users, which is tremendous. Even Zara was at 48%.
There you go. Unbelievable.
So I think all in all, 20% of fashion online shop users in the United States use Shein. That means of the 57% who know the brand, 35% use them.
Wow.
And the other big, really interesting statistic that I found is that 85% of Shein's customers show loyalty to the brand. 85%.
Wow. Yeah.
So, but I also have some stats that may be a surprise. While Shein has the most share of visits to its website for fashion and apparel websites in the US, surpassing Macy's, Gap, Nordstrom, Nike, Shein ranked number 4 in actual online fashion sales. So if we look at the fashion market in the US specifically, Amazon's number 1 with 5.6 billion of fashion sales.
Yep.
Macy's, surprisingly, is ranked number 2. I don't know why I'm surprised by this, but Macy's is sitting number 2 at 5.4 billion. Walmart is nipping at the heels of Macy's at 5.3. And we know, Robin, with Denise Incandela at the helm of fashion, Walmart's fashion, that number is going to grow up significantly.
Yeah, she's terrific. And of course, she was at our dinner last night, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's great to see her.
Yeah.
And Shein is at 4.8. So they're sitting at number 4.
Yeah, but they're growing faster than anybody.
Tremendously, for
Yeah.
sure. So the big question is, how do they become this huge phenomena? And we know they're moving up the ranking for 2022 for sure, maybe surpassing Amazon and Macy's in sales.
Yep. Well, for older people like me, Shelley, who may have limited awareness of this online only apparel brand, there are millions of Gen Z eyeballs now worldwide who cannot tap onto the Shein site often enough to satiate their compulsive purchasing additions. And of course, those young eyeballs are seeing prices, Shelley, so low they can't believe it. And that leads to what? Buy, and more of them buying, which should be shocking wake up calls to the C-suites of Zara and H&M.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're keeping a close pulse on it.
They better be. Shein launched in the US around 2008, selling only wedding dresses made in China. In China's low and lower cost manufacturing plants, as we know, so low that the selling price was $200 versus the identical dress in the US for $1,000. I am sure it wasn't on Zara's or H&M's radar, but between then and now, Shein has grown exponentially and ships to 200 countries. If Morgan Stanley's estimate is right, that Shein will generate $20 billion in revenues in 2022, it would make them the brand in the running for the 3rd biggest apparel retailer in the world, just behind Inditex Zara, which should be pushing 30 billion, and H&M around 20 billion also, which would be neck and neck also with Uniqlo, although we don't call them really the classic fast fashion model, correct?
Yeah, fast retailing, that's right. Well, as you know, Robin, I've been tracking fast fashion business from all perspectives since its inception. And I've been writing about it, speaking about it. And of course, Zara really pioneered the perfect model of fast fashion, and H&M was right behind them. So if Shein is barreling down on both of them, they must have a major differentiator factor. Besides just the low to bottom pricing and billions of these young kids drinking the Kool-Aid, there has to be more. And your article that you wrote, which I thought was fantastic, it really zeroes in on a better and faster supply chain. So Zara's introduces about 12,000 new designs annually. And they built the model on this short lead time, scarce supply. The real differentiator that turned the fashion business upside down, and where the term fast fashion actually comes from, was its ability to reduce the production time from the traditional model of 6 to 9 months down to 3 weeks. So that was Zara. But get this, Robin, Shein produced 150,000 new items in 2022.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah, so compare that
Yeah,
to 12,000 at Zara.
yeah.
And they're able to produce, the production time is down to 1 week.
Wow. There you go. And, Shelley, it's also important to note that the ability to accomplish this level of a rapid creative cycle, as you know better than I, requires a very flexible and agile supply chain. Shein chooses smaller factories to commit to making 100 or fewer items per batch every week from prototype to production so that it can quickly test the products in each market. This allows them to quickly ramp up production on the winners and shut down the losers.
That's right.
Yeah. So conversely, Zara's minimum batch size is about 300 to 500 pieces versus the 100 or fewer at Shein. And it takes 2 to 3 weeks from prototype to production. When Chris Chu, the gentleman who started Shein back in 2008 in China, it was a drop ship wedding dress manufacturer which sold its dresses on third-party websites. And now, of course, it is a global manufacturer and distributor of many fashion categories. And as I said before, sells across over 200 countries. So Shu shifted the business to operate out of these small Chinese garment factories in Guangzhou region, added more product categories, and then and built Shein's own website as a D2C model, which means they own all of the data and they collect tons of it on a daily basis. And more important, they know how to use it.
That's right. So the smartest decision Shein made was taking ownership of the customer data by selling direct to consumer instead of on marketplaces or distributing product through other retailers.
Right.
Nike learned this lesson also about 5 years ago. So Shein also goes beyond just using their own customer data. So they have the purchasing information from the website, but they layer into that this whole social media aspect. So Shein is able to predict trends at a faster speed than other fast fashion players because they're using search traffic and social media. So for example, instead of just tracking what I purchase on Shein, they're also tracking what I'm searching for on the website. Many retailers do this, and they're tracking my social media feeds, my mentions, and they're also looking at my social media groups. What are my friends reacting to? Not to mention the affiliate program where users get commission or cash bonuses on referred sales by promoting Shein on social media.
Yeah, incredible. They got every front covered. You mentioned the affiliate program, and it's not peanuts. Customers can get 10 to 20% commissions for each referred sale, along with some free product deals to sweeten the compensation, right? And and speaking of marketing, Shein knows the power of collaborations with music icons, popular influencers, and capsule collections with reality stars. They really have built a vibrant community with Gen Z shoppers, continuously promoting the brand through social media. Shein really gets it, and that's why they get the loyalty that they get. And they also leverage TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. In fact, their customers and influencers are interchangeable.
It's so true, and it's amazing. And kind of a big point that was made in the Harvard Business case study was a 2020 survey of 9,800 American teenagers found Shein surpassed Amazon as their favorite online fashion store.
Wow.
So then if you add in the fact that these young consumers spend an enormous amount of time on social media platforms where they share everything, including fashion trends, it's easy really to understand that Shein's social influence is making it its fastest growing company in the world, because it delivers affordable, fashionable, desirable necessities for a diverse group of loyal young customers. So Robin, what's the pricing differential look like between Shein and their competitors?
Okay. Yeah, Shelley, this is the big deal. Zara is the number one to compare. A basic dress from Zara is priced between 30 and 40 bucks. Shein's similar dress is priced, get this, under $10. And they provide a more diverse selection also. Shein offers entire outfits, including shoes and accessories, for less than $30. Examples of the least expensive selections include tops under $5.99, dresses under $9.99, and clearance items under $5. Why they need to put $5.99? Why don't they just say, I mean, but these prices are crazy. And when you consider the fact that Shein is turning out new on-trend stuff on a daily basis based on tons of continuously mined consumer data, along with eye-popping low prices, it's very easy to understand how Shein's daily total shipment was about 1 million packages, with each order totaling an average price of $70. That was in June 2021. Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's got to be more this year for sure.
Yeah.
You know, Robin, at the end of the day, though, all of Shein's almost magical and superior connection with these young consumers, as we know, there's a darker side to fast fashion, so-called paradise for these kids, and that's having to do with the environment, right?
Oh, yeah.
So this and other issues all become the Achilles heel of many fast fashion brands.
Yeah, Shelley, and Shein does not score highly on the ethics scale regarding the environmental impact and labor conditions. Shein is actually accused of making zero effort to rectify the use of hazardous chemicals, carbon emissions, to the use of microplastics. Furthermore, their mass production of cheap clothing based on its on-demand algorithm, which is incredible, is perpetuating a throwaway fashion culture amongst these younger generations, and that according to measurable.ai as well.
Well, absolutely. But Shein is really, they're well behind in terms of its environmental impact. And if it really wants to surpass Zara and H&M and others, the company needs to put a little more bite into its program.
Yeah.
Let me give you some examples of what Zara is now doing. Their main goals, according to their annual report, is by 2022, they want to be 100% of its electricity from renewables. By 2023, 100% free of single-use plastics for all its customers. 100% more sustainable cotton. 100% sustainable man-made fibers from more sustainable sources. 2025, 100% more sustainable linen and recycled polyester. And this is an amazing one. By 2040, Inditex plans to reach net zero emissions.
Hope I'll be alive to see it. Go ahead.
Stop. Don't even say that.
Yeah.
They just announced a new partnership with the Shared Global Advancing of New and Innovative Technologies towards textile to textile circular loop. So Inditex made a 3-year commitment to buy 30% of Infinited fiber, which produces a fiber made from 100% textile waste. So
Wow.
Zara has already launched a capsule collection using this innovative high quality fiber in its assortment. So, you know, they really have a lot of things that they're doing, Zara does. So if I
Yeah.
compare Shein's initiatives, one of their initiatives is on-demand manufacturing to reduce waste. I
Yep.
mean, I'm not even sure if they're making 150,000 new styles, the on-demand manufacturing to reduce waste, that just doesn't make sense,
Well, you're right there.
right?
Yeah, look at the numbers. Right.
And when you look at another one of their initiatives, it's very vague. So this one's called Circular Economy and Product End of Life. And their initiative says Shein is currently developing innovative solutions and working with strategic partners to develop garment recycling programs and other initiatives to reduce post-consumer waste.
Sounds to me like a word salad.
It sounds to me like a consultant wrote that for them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can say that.
Right.
But honestly, Rob, here's my favorite one. Having spent my entire life in stores, retail stores, this is my favorite sustainable initiative from Shein. They prevent much of the waste and environmental impact associated with running a traditional retail store, such as flooring, energy, consuming lights, fixtures, for displaying merchandise, plastic hangers, to name a few, quote unquote. I took that right off their sustainability. I mean, seriously? Not opening stores? We all know that eComm is absolutely less sustainable than running stores in terms of the planet, especially for one that produces those 150,000 styles, per year.
That's right.
I think these are really a bit of a stretch in terms of a sustainability program and really not specific enough. I think their goals are about 15 years behind the competitors. And if Shein wants to stay in the US market, they're going to have to up their game in this area. And I'm just going to add here, because you and I, we keep talking about fast fashion.
Yeah.
And we have this idea that consumers want fast fashion to move to slow fashion because consumers care about the planet. But Robin, the numbers and actions tell us something very different.
That's correct.
Q1 Zara's up 36%.
Yep.
H&M is up 20% for the first 6 months of 2022. And get this, Zara's gross margin in Q1 hit a 10-year high at 60%. That's their gross margin, 60%.
Yeah.
They have less markdowns, more chances of hitting it right, and they have a very fast inventory turn. So consumption for fast fashion is alive and well.
Well, yeah. Now, the question is this, you're absolutely right, Shelley, in all this. But the big question is, and as I've often questioned, that although they strongly talk the talk, both consumers and retailers, about saving the planet and supporting, humane treatment of workers, among, other such altruistic values, will they walk the walk? Now, I believe that a lot of retailers, and I talked to a young woman from Target last night at our dinner, and we were talking about all the major initiatives that Target is making. And she said, well, what's a big subject today? I said, well, there is a big subject in this fast fashion thing, in the fact that young people, while they talk about saving the planet, they can't get enough fast fashion. And I mentioned Shein to her, and she was nodding her head saying yes. So, if consumers don't walk the walk and force these fast fashion people, and all apparel makers for that matter, to really start doing things that affect the environment positively, then forget it. But then I said, and she said, well, Target's got all kinds of good initiatives. I said, I know they do. And I said, knowing your CEO, I don't think you're just talking the talk. So maybe the fact that you're walking the walk, big companies like Target can, bring these young consumers in when they really start to see that, hey, I can save the planet and still get great fashion from Target or other stores. But so far, Shelley, the answer to when will they walk the walk seems to be, will they ever walk, seems to be no. Therefore, Shein for the time being, has a very long runway, and Zara and H&M have a lot to worry about.
They sure do. For our listeners, you can find more of our podcasts on Apple, Spotify, Buzzsprout, and therobinreport.com. Look for us on YouTube, where we broadcast our podcast as well. And please follow us on social media, link in with us, follow us on Twitter for the latest thoughts about the industry.
And I want to thank everybody again very much. Thanks for listening and viewing. So, and I always ask if any of you have topics that you would love Shelley and I to cover, send me an email at robin@therobinreport.com. And thanks once again.